So it's already halfway through the day and I'm just starting today's video. I'm losing a little bit of momentum for this month already. Well, say already. We're nearly at the end, aren't we? There's crying in the background. We're going to have a day at home today. I feel like we all need it. Tommy is better now, but I had to pick him up from nursery early yesterday because he's apparently been sick. But he was doing headstands as soon as he got to my mum's house, so I'm not sure how poorly he was, but Fraser is now teething and not happy. He's full of cold. Really not happy. We've got to get him because he's upset. So as you saw at the beginning clip, I was making a list because I feel like everything's just getting on top of me at the moment. My hair is not looking great. It's still wet in the shower. So yeah, I just feel like everything's just getting on top of me at the moment, so I'm wanting to get a list down so I can work through that and hopefully that will ease some of the stress. This always happens. I feel like I'm really organised and then at the last hurdle there's just so much that hasn't been done yet. And this year we've been trying to make a lot of our Christmas gifts, which takes a lot more time. Even though it does save you money, it takes a lot more time. Oh Tommy, please. So I'm just trying to feel a bit more in control of everything. Like I said, we're trying to make a lot of our Christmas gifts this year, which is great, but it takes so much more time. And what happens is we get to the end and we haven't done something, so I just end up going and spending probably more money than I would have done because I have to go and get something that's convenient rather than looking for the best bargain. We haven't got lots left to do, but we were going to make something for the boys, and that's like their only Christmas present from us, and it's not done. And then I get all this guilt. Like Fraser's not even getting a birthday present from us, and that sounds awful, but we don't have the money and he needs a new car seat, so the sensible thing is just to spend money on a car seat. But then I get to close to his birthday and I feel guilt that he's not getting anything from us for his first birthday. I know it doesn't really matter, and like the logical side of me knows it doesn't matter, but the emotional side of me wants to get him something nice for his birthday. And Tommy is not in a good mood again. This has been going on for days, him being in a really bad mood. I think he's just fed up from being poorly. And I thought today would be best to stay at home because we've been away from home so much. We were away from home for almost a week and then he went to nursery the following day. So I just felt like today he should spend the day at home, but now he's in a bad mood. And I think probably being at home isn't helping, but if I go out, that doesn't help either. So I was about to come on and say that the boys were playing really nicely, that I might prep dinner for tonight, and then I had to go and deal with Tommy and a potty situation, and then this one started whinging. So we've gone from them playing nicely, me able to get a few jobs done, to him wanting to be held. So I might still try and prep dinner while holding him, but he's getting so heavy now it's quite hard to do. Aren't you? I used to be able to put him in the carrier and do these jobs, but if I put him in the carrier I can't see over him because his head's like right up here, so it's quite difficult. Hey, what are you doing? Dinner's prepared. That's what it's looking like. I had to leave Fraser crying a little bit because I couldn't do that one-handed carrying him, so he's just been stood at the gate whinging. This is where he hangs out when I'm in here sometimes. Just drink some milk. I'm meant to be getting him off the milk, but he's not really been eating this week, well the last couple of days. Let's pick you up. Come on then. Yeah, it's not been eating, so I'm not going to stop him having an afternoon milk, because I don't want to starve the little boy, do we? Look at that face, that's a sad face. Where's the milk? Where's the milk? Well, this never happens. I've got Fraser down for a sleep and Tommy's going to put himself down for a sleep as well. Probably don't want him to nap, but he's not been sleeping at night time, so I'm thinking let him sleep during the day, because at least then I'm getting some rest from him. He keeps waking up at night, and it's getting better than it was, but it's tiring. So I'm just gonna let him nap, and then at least I can have a little bit of time to myself now. Just wondering what to do, whether I just sit and do nothing. Probably not a good idea. I might tidy the living room a little bit, because this is what Tommy likes to do to the living room. Well, it's not even that bad, but he always likes to pull the cushions off the sofa, so I might tidy that up. I might also start editing this vlog so that I don't have to do it tonight, because you okay? Because I've got a long list of other things that I need to do, and I also need to be able to go to bed on time as well, because I'm shattered. So I might just do that. And I've got some photos to edit. I need to edit the photos I took from Fraser's cake smash. I was going to do it during the week, and it just didn't happen. I've selected the ones that I want to edit, so at least that part's done. So I asked in one of my vlogs if you had any questions, and I had a few questions, but they were all from one person, and I didn't really feel like it was enough for a separate Q&A. Plus I've already kind of answered them in my life update video, so I just thought I'd go into more detail. I've come upstairs with Fraser while Tommy sleeps, so he's on the floor here. If you can hear him, he's actually trying to climb up. I thought I'd quickly try and answer them for you in a little bit more detail. I'll try not to go on too long so that this video doesn't end up too long. And I think I'll just end this video for today, otherwise it will be too long. So the questions have come from Elsie Mom of 2. I hope I've got that right. The first question she asks is, are you going back to work soon? So I already said in my life update video that I'm now a stay-at-home mum. We made the decision before I started maternity leave that I would be staying home this time. I went back to work after having Tommy. I went back to work when he was 10 months old, and then I remained at work until the following year. So it's a whole year that I went back to work, and I started maternity leave early with Fraser for various reasons. And I've been at home for over a year now. So we decided before I started maternity leave that I wouldn't be going back. Fraser, you're so noisy. He's chatting to the teddy bear. We decided that I wouldn't go back because we'd be paying for 2 lots of childcare, and that is mega expensive. Like, my wage wasn't low, but it wasn't really high either. It was just kind of average, somewhere in the middle really. It wasn't a low wage, it wasn't a high wage, and that's a really difficult position to be in sometimes. I'm not saying that we were hard done by or that we're worse off than other people, but if you're on a lower wage you get more benefits. Like, you can get more childcare even for 2-year-olds, and if you're on a higher wage, obviously your wage covers more than just the childcare. So it was a really difficult position to be in. So this is going to kill my arm, isn't it? So we just made the decision that I wouldn't go back. It is financially really difficult for us. My maternity leave, like my maternity pay finished in July, so we've just been relying on Keith's wage since then, and it's mega hard. But if I was working, it would be mega hard. So I feel like at least this way I'm at home with the boys. Not Fraser, Fraser, careful. Tommy will be going to preschool in January, but we've got him here into a preschool attached to a primary school, and they will only do mornings or afternoons. So I we'll only have him there 3 hours of the day. So if you take into account drop off, pick up, it's only 2.5 hours at the absolute most, possibly even less when you talk about trying to get them out of the house and everything. So that's not long enough for me to go back to work, and then obviously I'd have to find different childcare for Fraser because he can't go there. I could move Tommy and probably still get his free childcare. So it could be possible, but it would be still paying for Fraser and topping up Tommy's childcare. So it just would be so hard financially. So at the moment, I'm staying at home. I will be doing a little bit of work in the new year for my father-in-law, just to bring a little bit of extra money in and to help him out. He needs it desperately, and he definitely needs it. We sat down together, and yes, he definitely needs it. He's not just doing me a favour. I'll definitely be helping him out as well, so that will bring a bit of extra money in, which is great. And I'm always trying to find other ways of earning a little bit of money. It's just really difficult. I think I might have talked about this already. It's really difficult when you've got... He's okay. It's difficult when you've got young children to find the time, because as you can see, when you've got them so active, they're into everything and I can't really leave them, and it's really difficult for me to sit on my laptop during the day because they want to touch it, and we don't have a big enough dining table that I can put it on there and they can't reach it. If I put the laptop on the dining table, they would be able to reach it and pull it down, so that's not an option. We have the computer desk, but I don't like to leave that open because they can get into that as well. So it's just difficult, as any parent will know, and if you've tried to work from home while having young children, you will know how hard that is. It is what I want to do, but I also know it will be mega hard. It's hard going out to work as well. I've done that, and that is hard as well. Whatever you do is difficult, but that's the situation we're in at the moment. Her other question was, and I just opened my phone up again, how is Keith doing with his job? So I did mention in my life update that he was made redundant, but that was overturned. He is doing fine. It's taken a long time to settle things down. He's still waiting on things to be like finalised. This has taken up our whole year. Like, I'm trying to think when it all started. I think it was back in February that this all started. We knew it was going to happen, but it was around February, March time, maybe a little bit later, that it kind of all started. The takeover happened and they didn't have a job for him, and he was just basically put on gardening leave. It has consumed a good portion of this year, and it has been quite stressful at times. I'm grateful he's got a job, but it has been quite stressful. But he's getting on fine in his job. In some ways this job is better because he's working a little bit further away, so he's got a longer travel time. Technically got a longer travel time, but he now has access to a van to take him to and from work, whereas before he was on public transport and sometimes bicycle. So even though he's further away now, maybe it evens itself out because he's not on public transport anymore. But he's not working as long hours. So the job he did before, he didn't have to do overtime, but if the job wasn't finished, he felt like he had to, and there was no limit to that. Like, it was just down to him, and you would just be there for hours sometimes. I would never know from day to day what time he was coming through the door, and most of the time it was 7 at the very earliest. So I was dealing with I say the boys. Fraser was very young when this takeover happened, so obviously it hasn't really affected me while I've had Fraser. So Fraser wasn't really around when Keith had the other job, so it was just Tommy, and I was obviously heavily pregnant as well, and I would never know when he was going to come home. I would deal with Tommy fully until bedtime, sometimes even putting him to bed. When I was struggling to put him to bed, he would have to stay up with me until Keith came home and hope that Keith was home in reasonable time. And he was leaving at silly o'clock in the morning as well. Whereas now, I know roughly what time he leaves every day, and I know what time he comes home. And although he's not home for dinner time, I still have to deal with dinner time every day. But that's pretty normal, isn't it? Like, not many people will be able to, like, your other half, whether that's the mum, the dad, or whoever it is, they're not going to walk through the door at 4:30, 5 o'clock and help you with dinner. It's not going to happen, is it? So that's fine, but he's getting home so he can help me with bath time, sometimes helps me with cleaning up of the like dinner time if I'm delayed with feeding them, and getting them to bed. So in some ways this job is better because we kind of know where we stand with things. He does sometimes do overtime, but it's rarely happened that he's not turned up when he's meant to. So I can pretty much guarantee what time he will be home every day, which is lovely. And it's a little bit earlier than it used to be. And her other questions weren't necessarily for a Q&A, but I thought I would address them. It was on one of my videos where I was having a bit of a meltdown, and she was just saying, are you doing this all by yourself? She said she has lots of help from her mom and her sister, and she feels overwhelmed. So basically saying that I'm doing a great job if I'm doing it all by myself, and just suggesting that I might get some help from my mum or other family members. So I just wanted to address that. I have briefly addressed it directly to her. It's a great idea, and in an ideal world we would have help on hand all the time. It does take an army to raise children. A lot of people do say that, but I come from a big family. There's 7 of us. Out of those 7, 4 of us have children, so that would be a lot for like my mum or my dad to help out all the time, and if we all had children that would be even harder. My mum does help me out. She lives the closest. I don't live that close to my dad's, so my mum does help me out, and I often will go to her house, like if I need to get out of the house but I don't want to go to the park or somewhere else. I do go to my mum's house. But my boys are mega active. Like if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that they are so active. They like to climb. They're both big boys, but they're still quite young. Fraser's not 1 yet. He will be 1 at the end of this week, but he's the size of an 18-month-old, but needs to be treated like a 1-year-old. Like he needs to be held all the time. 18-month-olds do as well, but by 18 months often they are walking, whereas Fraser isn't. And Tommy's only just turned 3, but he's more the size of a 4 to 5-year-old. So they are big boys. That's a lot for people to be able to handle. You need to be, I mean, I'm not strong, but you need to have some strength behind you. My mum doesn't have that strength behind her. So my mum does help out with her husband, but my mum physically can't do it by herself. And that's not me like being down on her or anything like that. It's just, careful Fraser, you be careful. It's just a reality of life that I have big boys. They're not like physically easy to look after, and my mum's just not up to it anymore. I'm her oldest and I'm in my 40s now, and so she's in her mid 60s, yeah, about mid 60s, and so she's not a spring chicken anymore. Some grandparents are in their 50s and are a lot more able to care for their grandchildren, whereas my mum is heading, she's not heading towards 70, but she's closer to 70 than she is 60 now, and my dad's already 70, so it's not as easy for them to help out. As for other family members, I do have my sister who lives close by, but all my other family members live elsewhere in the country. They're not close by. My sister helps me out, but mostly in the form of we get together and let our boys play together. She has a little boy who you would have seen on this channel, and I have talked about my sister and her little boy on my social media. Felix is just a little bit younger than Tommy, so they're great friends. So she helps me out more in company, and for me, company for my boys. And she does help out sometimes. We kind of do swaps on babysitting. So as far as getting regular help throughout the week, I don't really have access to that, but this is how I feel about it, and this is no reflection on anyone else, no reflection on whether if you take help from other people. I mean, if I did have it like there, I probably would take it, but this is how I feel about it. I was the one who chose to have children. They're my children. My mum chose to have me. She didn't choose to have my children. So it's my responsibility to look after my children. Yes, some help would be nice every now and then, and I gratefully receive it, but they're my responsibility. I want to raise them. Now, if you do get a lot of help from family members, I'm not judging you for that. I think it's great. Some people have lovely setups where they get like grandparents to look after their little ones multiple times a week, have sleepovers, and that sounds fantastic. It sounds like a dream actually. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not that I'm judging you if that's your situation. It's that I'm not expecting it for myself. Like, I don't think badly of my mum or my dad for not offering that to me or giving that to me. That's kind of where I'm going with this. It's not that I'm judging other people who have that. It's that I'm not thinking badly of my parents for not giving that to me, because they're my children and I don't expect it. Yes, help is nice, and like I said, I do gratefully receive it, but I don't expect it. I just have a question for you guys. Does it bother you that I often don't have makeup on? Like, if I'm at home and I'm not doing any sit-down videos, because I will put makeup on for sit-down videos, but if I'm at home and not planning to go anywhere, I generally don't put makeup on, and I'm okay with that. And I don't do that because my skin doesn't always like it, like my eyes don't like it. It irritates my eyes. I know a lot of people want to put makeup on so that they feel like they are put together for the day, that they feel a little bit motivated to get on with jobs, and it just gives them a bit of a boost to get things done. Fraser, what are you doing? For me, putting clothes on gives me the motivation to get things done. Makeup just irritates me. Like, I like to have my makeup on, I like to feel put together, I like to feel like I'm more awake and look alive. But if I'm just at home, it just irritates me, and I just end up scratching my eyes and rubbing my, like, I end up with tears because my eyes start watering, and it's just not fun. So my question for you is, does it bother you that if I'm regularly at home, I don't have makeup on? Like, I'll often do my hair, but because it takes so long to dry, it's wet most of the time. It's kind of done now. So yeah, does it bother you, the no makeup? Because I can't be doing makeup all the time. So we're all ready for bed, and we're going to go to sleep now, aren't we, Tommy? We're going to read our book before bed, yeah?
Yeah.
And then we're all going to go to sleep, aren't we? Can you say night-night?
Night-night.
Say see you soon. Say thumbs up. Ah, big thumbs up. Say see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
You got this, go. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.